Welcome into the Ride the Wave show. It has been long overdue. We're coming off a jam-packed weekend here in sports. Friday, we had Eastern. They went on to win in the playoffs. We had Ironton. Obviously, they won in the playoffs. They've been killing everybody that they played. We had Wheelersburg, and we had Waverly advance in the playoffs. Then we turn around Saturday. Ohio State had to go to a bullshit noon game at Penn State instead of a night game for the whiteout. That was dumb, but they survived that. And then Florida almost upsets Georgia, but then Georgia, comes back, does their thing, been able to get a W there. Then Iowa State and Texas A&M and Kansas State all go down, being upset. While on the same day, Adena ran through Wheelersburg after beating Zane Trace in the Sweet 16. Now they're going on to the Final Four after a season that literally nobody picked them to win the league. And now they're in the Final Four with a gold ball. So that lets us know how terrible everyone in the media is, not including us. And then Sunday, Chillicothe lost in penalty kicks in an amazing game to St. Francis de Sales. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more here in a little bit. And then we covered 3 Super Bowl games. CBS has never done that. ESPN has never done that. Fox has never covered 3 Super Bowl games in one day. Had a few dynasties going on there that we'll talk about in a little bit. And I won the Fantasy Football Championship. Give it up for me. Thank you. So, yeah, we had a lot of amazing things happening over the weekend. I am joined here to my right with Adam B-Dubs and Tony Tone. Adam, I'm going to start with you. We were kind of watching that Florida and Georgia game in 2 different places there, but Georgia ended up pulling that one out. How was your weekend? Yeah, I mean, just wish that Florida could have pulled that one out. Let's see Georgia lose again.
Yeah, that one was a lot of
Yeah. I thought after that interception, though, that game was in the bag there for Florida. And then, Tony, how was your weekend? You had Saquon Barkley reaching the top again in the Sports Center top 10 with a, backwards hurdle?
Unreal. I've never seen anything like it.
It was insane.
I was explaining it to Bree, and I'm just like, you don't get it. Like, this stuff doesn't happen. People hurdle people all the time. This has never been done.
This is a backwards hurdle.
Very rarely when you've seen so many years of football, you don't see it. But, I'm not necessarily super happy with the way the Eagles have been playing, but I'll take the W.
Yeah, I mean,
he went to Penn State. He was like, to be honest, it was almost home. You know what I mean?
Was he there with Franklin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, best thing Franklin ever had was Saquon Barkley. But yes, yeah, saying he can't win the big game.
I mean, what is he, like 1 in 16 or something like that against?
Oh, I didn't even know he had one. To be completely, I swear to God, I think the only one was that Did they beat USC in that Rose Bowl? That crazy one?
What, like 2017, where
Saquon seen the year before he went to the NFL, because I'm pretty sure he went crazy in that game.
You guys see Jason Kelsey slam that phone?
Oh, he was pissed.
I love it.
Jason Kelsey talk about my boss?
Yeah,
about my boss.
our boss got that. So that. Yeah, it's true. It's directly his boss.
But would also technically be his boss.
Got on ESPN's like TikTok and like on ESPN Monday Night Countdown because she showed up. She was the girl that said, "I'm just here for Jason Kelsey and snacks."
Yes.
That was his boss.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was insane.
Well
Local
done.
celebrity. She's balling over. She's actually going to come on the show and make us famous too. So we'll stand by to hear some more about that. Yeah. Okay, so we need to get a hold of TJ. TJ Brown, we're coming for you. Now, we were going to have the Adena Lady Warriors coming on, but they actually, instead of just going to Final Fours, get 4.0s. They had an academic night tonight that they couldn't skip out on, which is important.
That could just be for volleyball stuff. So
I think so.
Okay, you guys are studying just X's and O's for volleyball.
They need no distractions.
Yeah.
I mean,
not be like actual academic.
I mean, honestly, some of the questions that I have for him were questions that have probably been asked 1,000 times, but it's just like even, when you look at the game they just had against Wheelersburg, they were there was a lot of runs by Wheelersburg, 5-0 runs, different things like that. They actually were losing in a lot of these main sets, but they talked about how they love playing together and love each other. You could definitely see it in that game specifically.
ELE, everybody love everybody.
Preach.
The crazy thing, too, was that they had to play Zane Trace in the Sweet 16 after Zane Trace had to play Huntington in the district championship.
Shout out to the girls of getting these schools to the second round. When a lot of these SVC football teams, the boys just got beat in the first. I want to say every single SVC team.
Every SVC team went out in the first round.
Not in volleyball though. Those girls.
I don't think a single
one of them.
Without looking it up, I don't think a single one went one and done.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure, but I think at least all of them won.
We're talking about Huntington meeting Adena in the Sweet 16, and then the Elite 8. It was Adena's, it was 32-16.
Yeah,
Elite 8, right?
yeah, but then Adena beat Wheelersburg to go to the Elite 8. So
dude, they were down in. So they lose the second set barely, even though they were down a lot in it, and then Wheelersburg kind of came out hot in that third set too. Dude, they just like the Huntington game, dude. Like, if they got down a little bit, they did not change the way that they played at all. Like, we watched it live. Like, you could see it. They were never flustered, and it showed again. And it's like there was just Wheelersburg would rip off runs. Like, they had some really talented players, but it's, it just wasn't enough.
Is Wheelersburg the, most consistent name in playoff talks? Through across all sports that we hear, I'm talking.
Yeah, because you don't hear Ironton go deep in
they're the king
in
of
volleyball.
Football, right?
Yeah,
whereas Wheelersburg would be a B, a second.
The only thing I don't know about, because we talked to the coach last year. Wheelersburg basketball even went on a nice little run. So yeah, you could probably say that Wheelersburg in the area is the most consistent team that's going to be brought up in playoff talk.
We have dubbed them Titletown before, but I just want to make sure that it's
yeah.
isn't in fact.
Well, the volleyball team can't do it this year.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Well, but then the soccer team as well goes super deep.
Yeah. We'll see you in the Final Four, baby.
And then you got to think too. I mean, Adena.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. Is it's that much more impressive for Adena girls to beat them in the Elite 8 to go to the Final Four. It's just you basically beat Titletown around here. It's Titletown Adena now. Frankfurt.
Yeah. Well, and then you look at Adena, and we talk about how amazing that they are, right? Kind of forget though. I mean, they won back-to-back state titles in 1975, 1976, which I'm pretty sure.
Sydney done late for me lately.
Yeah, they haven't won one since, so you know that they have to be kind of hungry. But I mean, they've been to the Final Four in 2021, 2009, and 1993. In 2009 and 1993, they finished second, and then in 2014, they made it to the Final Four. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure there's a few more years there that, I just didn't get the time to be able to look it up and see what the exact years were. But
so you said in 93 and 14, they were state runner-ups?
93 and 2009. They were state runner-ups, yep. And in 2014, whenever we were in high school, they went to the Final Four, lost the first game. Same in 2021. But guess who they had to beat in 2021 to even get to the Final Four?
Wheelersburg.
Westfall. Oh. Another SVC school. So it's like, Wheelersburg's a good guess, but then it's like, if it's not Wheelersburg, it's an SVC school, I feel like, when it comes to volleyball. Yeah.
But it's just crazy that they had to play that deep in the tournament.
Yeah.
You could almost be like, hey, we're having this one at home.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
We're gonna rent Chillicothe's gym out. We're gonna have this one,
and then you got to think too, because Huntington was about the only one that tested Adena. They're on. Let me make sure I get this right.
Final Four at Netter.
18. They are on an 18-game win streak right now. And let me go over this playoff run with you. All right. They played Dawson Bryant first, 3-0. Oak Hill, 3-0. New Lexington, 3-0. ZT, 3-0. Burke, 3-1. They've only lost one set in the tournament so far. So, I mean, that just kind of goes to show you that they're absolutely dominating the entire. And I
think if you go further back, if you don't count Unyoda and go into last year, if you're talking about a team that's not named Unyoda, they haven't lost to an SVC team since Huntington at the beginning of last year.
They've probably not lost a set in.
I have it in this book somewhere, honestly, but but I remember that stat because I was looking up. I was like, oh, okay, so they lost, last year a couple times, but I think, they played Uniona twice. Those were 2 of those losses, and if you took those out of it, it was like maybe a loss to Huntington. I think was the only other one that was even SVC. So if you take out Uniona, which they were dominant last year, they haven't lost to anybody.
Voice cracked a little bit there. But and the crazy thing is, if you go back to the beginning of, like we said before the season even started, I mean, we weren't the only ones saying it. Like, a lot of people thought it was going to be Huntington or Uniona to win the league. Like, a lot of people didn't even think Adena was going to win the league. Gold Ball didn't lose a game. Like, and they only lost 3 games in the entire season, and they're all to very good teams. I think one was, I can't remember their names right now, but they were like, they lost their first game of the season to South Webster, so everybody thought it might be a down year for Adena. Won 5 in a row, then lost 2 out of 3 to 2 very, very good teams, and then have just kind of proven their dominance ever since. I mean, it's insane.
I think they just have a little bit of everything with it. You know what I mean? Like, they can switch styles for different games, and with Wheelersburg, they kind of set out to start blocking the net and slow down some of those heavy point scorers from Wheelersburg, and they did that. You know what I mean? Like, Corinne Day had probably the game of her career. You know what I mean? Definitely put her stamp on this
28
run.
kills, I'm pretty sure. 28, 29 with 4 blocks.
From what I saw and what I read, honestly, it's when you have somebody that's just going to be like high hitters and different things like that, you got to slow them down. And to be able to do that, you got to be able to get the digs too. So the people behind them, the Cameron Sowers of the world and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, and we'll see you here in a little bit the way that Cameron Sowers was playing here, Tony, whenever we do our top 10 plays of the week coming up here. We are going to take a little break from volleyball talk. When we come back, we're going to have the dynasty builder, probably the Bill Belichick of Southern Ohio.
If you don't know his story,
Scott Tomlison. So stick around, be back, we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes with the legend.
Sickest T-shirt collection in the game.
Dude, I know, right? Just fucking mean as hell. Oh, it's mean as hell, I think. That thing hasn't seen a dry set of panties. Skirt. What is this? 1971 F-150 regular cab. Oh, dude, sick it is. Oh, yeah, I know. He was trying to burn down. Oh, yeah, like, yeah, this, the graffiti bus. Yo, for $400, fellas, we can buy a basketball scoreboard. 69 to 69. Butts versus Bulls. Yeah, this is like still got you on the same fast like this. Then told him give me your money. Reborn elf doll.
Hey, unmute the TV real quick.
Hello.
Scott, can you hear us? Oh, wait.
Scream real loud.
Scott, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, sweet. All righty, Scott, we're going to come back real quick, and then I'll introduce you, and then we'll be ready to go, okay? Yeah, we're going to turn the waves off. We're just on a break, and those are just on so people can hear that. Okay, sweet.
Break. Look, a rampa bango.
All right, we're coming back
That's pretty
in
sick.
3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking in with us. Oh, wait, hold on.
We almost pulled the trigger on that.
That's the wrong audio.
This guy.
I stink. Where? Okay, yeah, we're back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for sticking in here with us. We have a very special guest coming in with us, an absolute builder of a dynasty, a man that has not one, not two, but 3 straight conference championships, the one and only Scott Tomlison.
Thank you, fellas. How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty darn good, man. I was trying to debate on whether or not I wanted to bring up your epic shirt collection, so maybe I should just get it out of the way now. Some of the greatest shirts I've ever seen in my life.
Where do you get the shirts? That's what we need to know.
Amazon.
Of course, Amazon with another win.
Handpicked, brother.
That's the only place I can find big man shirts, 3X, 4X.
Now, our favorite is the dogs playing poker. Do you have a favorite shirt?
That's one of my favorites. Yeah, I do like the dogs playing poker shirt.
All right. Got
it out of the way.
Yeah. That's it. All right. Hey, Coach. So, first off, congratulations on the league title and then
Thank
win
you.
another
Appreciate
playoff
that.
game. Now, before we kind of get into some other stuff, this playoff game has to mean a little bit more because this is a familiar foe. Kind of talk to us about that South Gallia game because it came down to the wire, 13-12 in that first game, and not only maybe 2-3 weeks later you're playing them again.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, we had to go to their place. Very hostile environment. They had a good crowd, a nice loud crowd, and we had to go there and pull out a last drive to win the thing, 13-12. Very good team. They've got 13 seniors. When you got 13 seniors at the at a D7 school, then you're going to be pretty good. So you got a very solid team. They stubbed their toe a couple times early in the season, but then after that, they got it rolling and they're having a great year. and I'm glad this time we've got them in our backyard. So it's good for them to have to come over to our place. I like being at home for this one, and I think we're a little more prepared this time. I think last time we played them, they knew early they wasn't going to play green. They basically had 2 weeks to prepare for us. Come over and watch us play live that Friday night when they were off. I like our situation a little better this time around.
Yeah, and Coach, I feel like you guys have been able – you guys came in, I feel like everybody kind of knew that air attack was going to be a problem, but you have kind of been able to figure out, hey, if you take away the air attack, we can still run the ball on you. And Eric Manley, from fantasy-wise, Adam can even tell you, has been amazing this year. And you are amazing in fantasy unless you are amazing in the stats book. So kind of talk about how big of an impact he has been for you guys this year and all the weapons. I mean, you even have Tucker out there that's been going insane these past couple of weeks.
Tucker got over 1,000 yards last week. He's over 1,000 season. Eric, I was just looking at our total stats today. Eric's up close to 2,400, but people don't realize we've rushed for 1,700 yards as well. So I mean, we're well balanced, and we lost Brewer for about 4 weeks, kind of hurt our rushing attack. He's back now. He's got his club off. He's got 2 hands available. He's been playing with one. He had to play for one hand a couple of games, and that really put a boost back in our rushing attack. So we're a lot more balanced now. Like, we can still turn Eric loose, but it's playoff football, and you'll be able to run the ball a little bit in playoffs. So you'll see a little more run as we go along.
Oh yeah, the ground and pound 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of runs.
Yeah, Brady
game.
Moore's really starting to turn it up. Brady's starting to he's starting to turn it up and get into a rhythm, get rolling. So that's good for us here, hitting at the right time.
I feel like one thing, too, that, kind of just from watching the film and reading the clips and everything like that, one thing that's been kind of key for you guys, too, is you guys have owned the line of scrimmage on offense and on the defensive side of the ball. Can you kind of talk about your big men up front for us a little bit?
My son, Dalton Tomlison, the line coach, does a great job with that crew. We got, Cade Lice at center. He's only a sophomore, was all conference last year. A really good ball player for us on both sides of the ball. He's turned into a great defensive end. He's playing real well at defensive end this year. Right guard, Mason Cater, came over to us from Waverly. Only a sophomore, very good run blocker. Does really good, getting better on his pass blocking. Now, he don't play much defense for us, but he's been a great help at that right guard spot, especially when Brewer was out and we leaned on running behind him quite a bit.
And you got to love that next man up mentality, too.
Oh, yeah. We've shuffled that O-line. We got a couple freshmen. Bronson Keller, he's actually starting right tackle for us now, and he's a freshman. He's having a great year. He starts and plays a lot of D tackle and rotates in. Another freshman, Braylon Beekman, he had to rotate in there a couple of games when Brewer was out. Did a great job for being a freshman and getting some playing time. Now Brewer's back at left guard, of course, and back out there on the D line. He's kind of our anchor. He's kind of run behind him quite a bit. And at left tackle, Hayden Ryan Smith, he's undersized, but the kid's got a huge heart. Plays really well, good feet. He's an aggressive kid. Him and Brewer communicate and play well together. He's held down the left tackle spot from day one all year. So really proud of that O-line, that D-line. On the D-line, you got Bryden Tomlison. He's a junior. So good thing is none of them seniors. If you hear me talk, I'm talking.
I was about to say, I was kind of keeping track there. I was like, I have not heard a lot of, we'll have him next year, which the SOC has to hate to hear.
They're all coming back. We've only got 4 seniors. So,
wow.
It's like I talked about before the season. It was like, I told people before the season when you do the press interviews and stuff, it's like, they ask you, how you think you're going to do. And legit, before the season, all those new starters and everything, we were thinking 7-3, 8-2 would be a great year. The kids, we could have took 3 L's, but they fought to the end of the game and did, refused to lose. Wanted that undefeated season, wanted that three-peat, and they pulled it off. And I feel like now we're really starting to those freshmen sophomores aren't freshmen sophomores anymore. They've got enough playing time under their belts now that they're starting to mature. They're starting to make less mistakes. Really like the direction we're heading and where we're at right now as a team.
And you guys got battle tested. I mean, out of the gates. What was it? A double overtime, I'm pretty sure, win over Miller. And then you go
week 1 right off the bat.
Yeah. And now I want to ask you, because not a lot of coaches can sit here and be like, I won 3 league titles, let alone 3 league titles in the row. But yours to me, I just feel like are way more special than any league titles you see anywhere because you have literally built this program from the ground up. So was there ever a time that after you guys won it this year, I know you had to keep your eyes on the playoffs, but you ever kind of look back and be like, man, like from where we started to now winning 3 league titles in a row, I mean, that is a crazy thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I look back because it's on our 10th year. We talked about it there a few weeks ago with Dalton. Like back in Dalton's, back when he was playing and we all started this thing, like we had teams that were just as good as our teams now. But back then we had to schedule whoever we could get. Like we would schedule Lindsley, West Virginia, who would have, they would have kids from 5 different states. We had to go play. Oak Hill was in our league at the time and was rolling people.
Yeah.
East back then had a couple 10-0 to 9-1 season, had some really good teams, and we had just a lot tougher schedule back then. But we were solid. We were still be 500, 6-4. But I think now we're finally starting to get it figured out. I'll tell you what it is. It's coaching staff. It's being in Beaver and not having teachers who actually played football in the building. It took a while to get a coaching staff together, and I finally got with Evan Ferguson as my offensive coordinator, and getting Dalton in there, and we had some good. Last year we had a great staff, but a few of those guys couldn't come back because of jobs. They're not teachers, and their job schedules changed. We had a Daniel Stewart this year, young kid from Oak Hill. He's been on their staff. He was a great player for them. He's been on their staff for 5 years. He has been great for us this year as a defensive coordinator. We got Alan Kiefer, comes over and helps out a little bit on the defense from Benton County. Just the coaching staff there with and those 3 young guys right there, Dalton, Evan Ferguson, and Daniel Stewart. They're all about the same age. They all click. They all have a really competitive mentality. And my opinion is coaching staff. Like as soon as this coaching staff started to get the coaching staff figured out and get the right guys in place, that's when we really started to take off. Because there was times in the past, and this is the first few years, there was times that me and Nolan Yates would be out there by ourselves. 2 coaches at practice. That's it. You go run these kids, I'll run these kids, and it's hard to do. It's hard to get the kids. It's hard to get the kids what they need when you only got a couple of coaches, 2 or 3 coaches. Now we have, last 3 years we've had a full staff, and that's what I contribute to the getting conference titles. The kids are great, but we've always had we've always had kind of talent. Kids are great, but you got to have that staff together, man, or it just don't click.
And I feel like whenever people are seeing. Hey, we only have 2 coaches, but we're still out here every single day putting in the kind of work. Like it's, I believe in karma. I believe in the universe. I feel like that's you put in what you get in return. And putting in that kind of work. I've talked to some other coaches, I've talked to some other school, like some people at other schools, and they ask us how we do things. And you find out, like at other schools, like their junior high and their Pee Wee programs aren't on the same page. Well, that's probably why your high school is not doing real well. Like you've got to be. I have a great junior high staff. Several of them will come up with us on Friday nights, and they got jobs. Like Andrew Holsinger, we hired him as an O-line coach this year. He signals in plays for us on Friday night. My Pee Wee coach, he's on. He's up there on Friday nights. He's got a job to do. I give him some jobs to do, who to watch, what to do. One guy will come up and just be the fixing equipment for us on Friday night. Scott DeWeese be hanging out fixing helmet breaks. He's got that kid fixing back on the field in a couple of snaps, and it's just getting that staff figured out. But I'm not just at your high school level; it's at your junior high, your youth league level. You all have to be on the same page. Like we, our Pee Wee, our 5th and 6th, they'll run a few of our, some of our stuff in our language. Our junior high runs exactly our language and our stuff with just a smaller package, but you get everyone on the same page, and that's what took some time too. You get everyone finally got the guys we wanted at the junior high level, the guys we want at the Pee Wee level, doing our language, our schemes all the way through. That way, there's just that those kids come to high school, they have an idea of what's going on, and they're already ahead of the game. Yeah, because getting equipped to the high school level is one thing. Now you don't have to worry about learning a whole new offense, a whole new defense, everything like that. I know Adam had a question for you.
We saw Yoda doing that all year. Like their middle school is running shotgun formations, running a hurry up offense. So
exactly like the high school.
Honestly, if you look at a lot of these youth programs, when you look at the Adena youth program, they're running, they're power I, they're doing exactly what their high school team's doing as well, and you see success in it.
You do that long enough, that's the payoff. That's when you do it enough years and get it rolling. That's when you get your high school program going where it needs to be.
We saw Uniota down there, and again, we're bringing them up because we actually got to see them live. We saw the Adena Uniota junior high game, and you're just watching them run end arounds and jet sweeps, and I'm just kind of sitting there. Football has changed since even I was in it. You know what I mean? Like we weren't sharp enough to be doing that. But these kids nowadays, man, it's not the same.
Coach, I know Adam had a question here for you. Adam? Oh, you're gonna Tony?
He kind of spoke on most of it, just saying, you help build the program, and I should say did a lot of the brunt work of it. But when you're walking on that field this weekend, and it's that home game, and you're looking at those field goal posts, and you're like, man, I got those there. You know what I mean? These bleachers, like, I'm not saying it's narcissistic or even greedy, but man, like, to just take that breath of fresh air and be like, this is the house that we built.
Yeah, it's real. It's like I was walking off the matter of fact, after the game Friday night, and the lights are still on, and I got an interview with with Julie with the paper. You got to talk to them, and everyone's cleared out. I've already talked to the team and released them. They're all heading to the fans and parents. And it's just me and my wife there. TM was walking off the field, and I looked at her. And it's just like, and it hit me at that moment. It was just like, man, this is we came. Look how far it came. Like we came a long daggone way. You look around, and see all those fans waiting there. A band, like just a few years ago, we didn't have a band there playing at our game on a Friday night. Now, after the game, if we win or lose, the kids run over to the band. They stand there. The band plays the fight song. The cheerleaders are going crazy. Then we meet in our little huddle, and then you've got hundreds of fans over there waiting for their kid. They got their friends. It wasn't like that, just 5-6 years ago. It wasn't like that.
Yeah,
so it's
amazing.
It's building. The momentum's building. The community's really behind us. The school's behind us. We've had support from the beginning, from the community and the school. I really love the direction this thing's heading. Like I said, we've only got 4 seniors. We're not going anywhere. I got the best freshman class we've ever had. 13 really good freshmen that can play. So we're not going anywhere. We're only going to continue to go up and continue to build.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, as people know, like, friends outside the show, I'm here to say, like, state title, like, is not out of reach for these Eastern Eagles, man. And we love to see it, man. Like you said, you guys have such a great supporting cast there with the fans. I feel like the students get involved in it. It's kind of awesome because we had Mr. Eckert on for the Huntington-Adena game, and he was on the very first Huntington team of all time. So it kind of makes you think, like, in 20, 30 years, there's going to be guys who are like, man, I was on that very first Eastern Eagles team. It's just a crazy thing to think about. Now, crazy things to think about, Coach. After you beat South Gallia and you go on this title run this year, you're going to be cooking up some good food. I see that you guys have been getting fed good by Beast and Bottle.
Oh, yeah.
You guys had some good spaghetti tonight?
We get taken care of. Emma's Frosty Cream hooked us up since the spaghetti dinner's over tonight. Tomorrow night, the new, I can't remember the name, it's slipping my mind, but the new Jackson Mexican restaurant in Jackson, they're feeding us tomorrow. I believe Thursday, Just Meats donated 70 ribeyes that Beast and Bottles want to smoke up for us.
Heck yeah. That's the best thing about making the playoffs, man. Everybody wants to feed you.
Hey, we eat well. We don't. Yeah, we eat well.
No more balls.
Hey, don't worry about it. All right, hey, Coach, one more thing before we get out of here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy playoff week to come talk to us. We are drafting here in a little bit our best Halloween costumes. What's some of your top Halloween costumes if you had to pick some?
Oh, man.
Your shirts can't count.
Back in the day, I used to fit in a gorilla. I used to have a gorilla costume, a full gorilla costume that I actually won. I won a couple contests with when I wore a state jersey over it to a couple of parties. And then I was I was Fat Thor 2 years ago. My wife tried to get me to wear.
Please tell me there's pictures I can see.
My wife tried to get me to break out the Fat Thor costume last Thursday to walk through. She wanted me to wear my Fat Thor costume, but I didn't. I couldn't find it.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Coach, thank you again so much for coming on. Best of luck to you and the boys going up against South Gallia and whooping their ass again this Friday. And we're cheering you on every step of the way, Coach.
Thank you, fellas. I appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the legendary Scott Bill Belichick Tomlison.
You guys have a good one. Thank you.
You too. Do you know how hoss it is, though, to be able to, like, literally walk into the stadium? And I know he's not that type of dude, you know what I mean? But, like, I kind of am.
Yeah.
It's like I would walk in there and I'd just be like, this is it, dude.
It is.
You're getting playoff wins in a stadium. Again, you don't have a band. You don't have any post-game rituals. Everything started with him and his staff. That's just so sick to me. It really is.
I can't wait. Hopefully I'm still around for it here in like 30 years, where like he can like you heard him talk about like, hey, we used to have a band, like you said. Now we're going over that at the end of the game. Like you're literally starting traditions. Like
he got the field goal post donated.
Yeah,
right.
Like
didn't
Payne
get
Valley
real
at the end of every single game, win or lose, goes over to the band, and the band plays the fight song, and then you go to the middle of the field, you hold the hands, you're in the big circle, right? Like that had to start somewhere. And for Eastern, in 20, 30 years, when they're like, where did this all start? Here with Scott Tomlison. Like, and I went back and looked. Their first year, which in 2014 they weren't in a conference. They had 3 total games. They went 0-1 in their conference, but I'm pretty sure they're just an independent. So
they had like 3 conference games.
Yeah, so they probably just play like other independent schools, and then but you could see every single year.
Got another so sick.
Yeah, just got another win and another win and another win, and then once they had, I'm pretty sure once they had their first winning season, they didn't have a non-winning season since then. So, and then they go in the SOC. I think they're in the SOC 1, where Waverly, Wheelersburg, them's in the SOC 2. It's just, if you're in that conference, you're like, Jesus, dude, like, we're screwed for at least the next 4 years. Like, it's not going to be Eric Manley.
Unpopular opinion, never been a fan. I know, like, colleges do it a lot. I know Ohio State does it. I've never been a fan of the losing and then going in front of the band. I'm a sore loser. I'm getting off that field. I'm going to the locker room. I'm getting out of my shit.
It sucks, too, because everybody's like, you played a good game. I'm like, really? Because we
lost.
lost.
The scores
it was so good that
we played a shitty game, honestly.
We played so good that we got an L.
No, Deborah, we didn't score enough points to win.
But you tried hard. Did we? Did we? Yeah. Oh, that was
tried hard at your job and asked for a raise.
Yeah.
They say no.
Yeah.
You're going to feel what I feel.
Like, we're in a sales position. I can't imagine my manager came up to me and it was like, Clay, I know you didn't sell a car this week, but you tried hard. Like, really? Well, I don't get paid.
Well,
I tried hard.
That was literally me, like, the last 3 days, because it was like, hey, these people just want cars you don't have.
Yeah.
Every car they want is.
By the way, if you need a car, go to Easy Credit or
Used
Trucks at Norris. I can't even remember what the name of your building is.
Well,
Trucks.
Go there, but don't look at the website before you come.
Yeah.
Let me pick out the car for you, so I know it's actually there, and it's not like.
Oh, dude, that's so annoying.
They're putting tires on that one.
Oh,
a whole front glass shattered on that one.
Sorry,
playing that one.
Me and Adam were just letting off some steam. But getting back to sports, everybody kept telling me I had a sunburn on my face today, and I was like, "What the hell did I do yesterday?" 3 flag football games back to back. They were electric, dude. Like, and let me tell you, some of those coaches thought that was the real Super Bowl. Like, the Lombardi was on the line yesterday, which, in ways people could be like, oh, that's a little too much. But if the coaches are excited, they're going to have the players excited, and the players are going to play better.
There's a line. You just don't cross the line. Don't be yelling at the kids'
and
faces
honest to
too
God,
much.
like, me and Andy
is good.
Me and Andy were calling it, like, if you thought that they, like, because they were kind of going at the refs a little bit, right? They had every fucking right. Like, dude, they were like, I'm not kidding.
I'll be honest. A lot of times refs just be like, oh, it's a little kid's game. Who cares? I'm going to go out here and half-ass it.
No,
fuck you.
It was the exact opposite. They like, if you barely moved on that offense, like, false start, holding. Chillicothe had 8 penalties in a row.
Well, I mean, it is the Super Bowl.
But, like, the thing was, like, you could call out on both teams, but like you like the refs were. I think there was like some like personal beef there because it looked like Adam was like, I want the beef.
Yeah, it cost me a championship when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, for Chillicothe.
Yeah, I hope Chillicothe gets buried.
No, speaking of Chillicothe,
buried in yellow flags.
Speaking of Chillicothe and being buried, R.I.P. Moment of silence, Scott Bartholomew, in his career at Chillicothe.
Oh yeah. Them kids over at Chillicothe, fuck them.
Moment of silence. Moment's fast. So, some people are loving Scott. Some people are not so much. You guys' thoughts on Chillicothe parting ways with their coach? Tony, I'll go with you first. I mean,
sometimes when you look at a roster, you got to think, if we're going to make a change, it's got to be now because there's some youth on that team. You don't want to change a coach halfway through that progress, their progression. So you kind of want to do it now when, you've got a young stud wide receiver. You've got a young quarterback.
Good upcoming quarterback.
So it's I think it's more of, you got to do it now
and
if you're going to make that change at all.
So obviously the fans are pretty disappointed in his record there, but they also have to understand that that's about the only place he's gone and not won. You know what I mean? So, Adam, what's your thoughts on Chillicothe getting a new coach?
How many years was he there?
He was there three or four. I can't remember exactly.
He was
at
there
least
4
3.
years, won one game each year except for this last.
No, that was a different coach, a different blue and white coach.
Huh? Who are we talking about?
The Chillicothe.
You're talking about Blair, but
yeah.
No,
Blair.
I'm talking about him. He won like what? He went like 1 and.
He won one game this year. They won, I think, 1 or 2 last year. But his first year they won like 4 or 5.
Okay, I thought he won 3 games this year. Did Chillicothe?
Oh yeah, no, they did.
Yeah,
They
so
won. They beat McLean. They beat Miami Trace in a
so
huge upset.
After 2 1 and 9 years, you come in and you win 3 games and they fire you. I don't really like it. I've never been a fan of firing a coach that you don't get enough time to. Like Baker Mayfield having 6 coaches in 3 years and they get rid of him, and now what?
That's the thing, though. If you're going to do it, you got to do it now.
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
I don't know why. I don't know
saying,
why they do it.
I just don't like the idea of like my thing coming from Vinton County where they gave guys just
way
so
too
many
long
years.
of it.
It's
Way
like,
too long.
You've been 1 and 9 for 5-6 years now. Okay, maybe you're not getting it done.
Yeah.
But we're talking like you have a good year, then you have some bad years, and then now you finally
Didn't they have
win
a transfer?
some
Didn't their quarterback transfer too?
No, they
Chillicothe
had a great wide
No, it was
receiver.
Tavion Galloway, the tight end wide receiver guy. He plays for Purdue now.
Yeah.
And that has to be another thing too. Of there was a whole season last year where you thought you were going to have Tavion, so you schedule a hard schedule, which I don't know how much one player is going to elevate you over those, but you get kind of dealt a tough hand. And then probably, I don't know why, but maybe don't schedule London 3 years in a row. I mean,
we always say like,
and
how
that's
much can
not a
one
coach
player
thing. That's
help
an
you?
AD thing.
But I mean, if you had Randy Moss in high school on that team, I'm sure they would have been good.
Yeah.
Like you saw who was throwing LeBron James passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And here's
so,
the-
I
here's
mean,
the
when
thing,
you get
too,
yourself a
could've done-
target, though,
you
man.
could've
You look at
did
the Sean
something.
Terrys of the world. You look at Blake Hoops. You giving a safety blanket to. I'm not saying the quarterback was mediocre at the time, but I'm just saying a mediocre quarterback can look a lot better when they have that guy. That's
Which
gonna
I do
make
not
it.
know who Chillicothe's quarterback was.
Yeah, like that's exactly
Wasn't
what
it
I'm
Con?
saying.
Evelyn, yeah, that's who it was.
That's kind of exactly what I'm saying is like he like Randy Moss on that team. Randy wins games. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
just
it's,
throw it up too. See, and here's the other thing too is like the kids like didn't quit. Like they were like if you read any article or talk to anybody that covered Chillicothe, they're like, yeah, no, like the kids are still practicing hard. They're still playing hard, and they had a lot of games this year where it was just a couple of points
Miami
here and there.
Trace is a really good football team.
Yeah, but I think what happened was as a
Chile ended
coach,
up winning that game, didn't they?
which one?
The Miami Trace game.
Yeah, they won Miami
that's
Trace.
what- I thought it was close.
I think really what it was the Portsmouth West game that should have been locked for them. Like, well,
They
not
lost
really,
that one,
because
didn't
Portsmouth West is in the playoffs. So I think people were kind of just overlooking Portsmouth West, and they only lost to them by 1, which they had a chance to
But
win.
with the way that game went, because we watched
That's-
it, they should have won that
I
game.
think that's what happened. And I think after that game, he didn't lose the team. I think the team was still in there, but he completely lost the
community.
town. Yeah. And not being a Chillicothe native, being from the outside coming in, I feel like it's kind of like a Corey Dye at Paint Valley where you're just trying to fight for the community to accept you. And for some reason, like at Paint Valley, they really haven't yet. At Chillicothe, Ron Hinton kind of gave them a little taste of winning, right? And they haven't had a sniff of it since. And I think that they're kind of just like, hey, we got the athletes, we got the players. We don't want to wait for the success, but when you fire a coach and you got to bring another one in, like, I don't know, you can't really expect them next year to just turn it around and be in the. I mean, still Jackson's conference to lose. Don't get us wrong.
You need a
unless
guy
you're
like TJ Carper coming in there.
I literally was about to say, not unless you're going to poach Zanesville.
Yeah, which would be huge because Zanesville, Chillicothe, people nowadays might not realize they hate each other.
Yeah.
Like
Like
a big rival.
used to be, yeah. It's kind of like a.
More for basketball than anything.
I would put it
but
with
still.
like Kansas and Missouri, who was a huge rival, and then they split from conference and they just don't play each other anymore. But I would still think
most of the sports teams are still rivals though, because you have like
Yeah.
St. Louis. That's never mind.
no, I meant
St.
like the
Louis
colleges, like but like if you still ask like a Mizzou fan or a Kansas fan, like, hey, how do you feel about the other team? They'd be like, yeah, hate them.
Yeah, because Kansas is totally pissed that like Kansas City's in Missouri. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, your best city.
It's like, no, you're ours. You're ours.
Well, I was even saying like so much like Kansas City, like the baseball teams, and then St. Louis, they're in Missouri, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they hate each other. But
Yeah.
also Missouri hates, or St. Louis hates the Cubs because it's like the highway, right?
Yeah, hate them more than anything. I think it's the highway. I don't know if there's like something more that sparked that rivalry.
I thought it was just because they're on the same highway. Like
They could
4
be
hours
because
apart.
I just remember asking my dad, I'm like, hey, Dad, why do we hate the Cardinals? He goes, because fuck 'em, bud. I'm like, okay, good,
Yeah.
good enough for me. But yeah, so we have Waverly. We have Waverly Eastern is going to play South Gallia. I don't know who Waverly's playing. Wheelersburg. Where is my phone actually? I don't
It's
know.
right over there in the second
It is?
show.
Oh, let me grab that.
But yeah, back to like the Chillicothe thing, just real quick. It's just they might have the thing with the Jets where they have a losing mentality. Like, so you bring in an Aaron Rodgers type, and it don't matter. Which Aaron Rodgers might be washed.
See, my thing with
That's
Chillicothe,
Fairfield Union.
they're
Wait.
very.
I apologize. I just played this one next.
I think it's safe to say that the Region 19 of Division 5 is the best. Oh, look at this. Sorry. That was Scott's costume.
Indian Valley. That's what it was. Yes.
I don't think you can see that. Zoom in. Amazing costume. I was like, but yeah, if you look at the Region 19 Division 5 playoff, you have Harvest Prep and Christian Academy. Which, if I'm Piketon, glad I lost to Columbus Academy, because then you play Harvest Prep next game. You know what I mean?
Harvest Prep's like the only team that could beat Ironton.
They actually are the only team that's beaten Ironton like in the past 2 playoffs. I think Harvest Prep, obviously they beat them last year, right?
They beat them last year, but Harvest Prep, they beat Wheelersburg the week before and then beat somebody else like the week before that. Like,
yeah, and then beat Ironton. And then the year
they lost to Ironton, and then the week before Ironton was Wheelersburg, and the week before that was somebody else that we knew.
and then the year before that, Harvest Prep, I'm pretty sure put Ironton out in the Final Four. So literally,
Oh no, I want to say that was last year because last year they beat Ironton and then lost to the state championship, who then won state championship next round, I believe.
Either way, Harvest Prep is a bunch of dogs. It's the only ones that can beat a feeder school for
Yeah.
the Ohio State.
because it looks like,
Vinton County beat them my junior year.
Let's see.
yeah.
They had
So
like
Ironton, I mean, they waxed Portsmouth 50-0, and then so they'll do that again. Harvest Prep is playing Columbus Academy. Fairland plays West Muskingum, and Wheelersburg plays Union Local, which Wheelersburg kind of got lucky there because Union Local was actually the 11th seed, beat Nelsonville York, the 6th seed, which I think, I mean, I don't know anything about Union Local, but I do know if Nelsonville York went to play Wheelersburg, that's probably a bloodbath. And then Fairland, they're the 2 seed behind Ironton, and I think their only loss was to Ironton, but it was a blowout. So I just think whoever's going to come out of this region is probably win the state title, 100%. Because, like I said, the last 2 years, the only team to put out Ironton in the playoffs is Harvest Prep. Since you get them in the regional semi, I mean, you've already proven that you can destroy Wheelersburg, and that you've already proven that you can destroy Wheelersburg, you can destroy Fairland. And I don't think West Muskingum or Union Local are going to be anything for them. So I think it's Ironton's state title to lose, and they're not even ranked top in the state.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I
I
mean,
always wondered, do state rankings go by Division II? So like you would have every school in Division 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
So I think there's like a state ranking like for like the whole state.
That's
and
what I'm saying. Like,
and then there's
so-
like state rankings for your division. And they're not even ranked number 1 in like Division 5. I think. Hold on, let me see.
I don't give a crap. Their athletes are freaking D1
That's
athletes.
what I'm saying,
They're all a bunch
like-
of studs. Like I don't.
It's almost like they have like the unmeasurable intangibles, like the heart, the grit, the I mean, their whole stand on business is like their slogan. Like, that's tough, dude.
Yeah.
Like, good season, though, out of the SVC for Unio. They got another gold ball. Let's give some shout-outs. The offensive back. So, apparently, they don't have, like, an MVP, like a player of the year. They just have an offensive and defensive back. No player of the year. Stop. That's stupid. Like, you can still have the offensive back and the defensive back of the year, but you need to have, like, a player. Like, this was the best player in the league, and they don't have that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every
Or
good
at
league
least
needs
just have
that.
offensive player of the year and a defensive player of the year.
No, that's all they have.
Yeah. I thought you
what-
said they just had an offensive back and a defensive back.
No, he just can't talk. But it's an offensive player
Yeah.
of the year and a defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
But
so-
it was a defensive back that won.
and a running back. So it's like,
Buddy.
offensive back, Buddy Wilson, you were high on
I don't know
him.
why he keeps saying offensive back. Why does he keep saying that?
That's what it said, dude. I wrote it down. They have just offensive back and defensive back. I'm not joking.
So can a quarterback win it?
I guess because the word back is in the name.
Quarterback, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, wide receiver can't.
That's so weird the way that's.
That's what I'm saying.
But either way, Buddy Wilson.
If you go look at the FAC, look, we'll show you. This is what the FAC had. Player of the year, Nolan Johnson. You know what I mean? It's like, no, like, which, well-deserved. I mean, he was an absolute stud. A bunch of first team and second team. Yeah, Division One. How many times is Jackson just going to pump out a Division One running back, which I think Bodie Wolford is definitely on his way to Division One. No, but for the SVC offensive back, Buddy Wilson, he finished with 1,085 yards, 14 tutties, and he was out for, I think, 2 games. So that's still impressive. I still
he
think
averaged like 8.8 yards a carry.
I still think, okay, I mean, could be biased because I'm Paint Valley. If you're giving the offensive back to Buddy Wilson, and this is not taking anything away from Buddy Wilson, great senior year. Missed a game or 2, right? Braylon Robinson only missed a game or 2. Tell me in my face right now that you think that Buddy Wilson is a better back than Braylon. Huh?
Who won the head-to-head battle?
Well, if Buddy only finished with 1,085
I'm
yards.
talking about when they played.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I guess
Not even
so.
talking about the score of like the high schools. I'm talking
Yeah.
about their individual stats.
Yeah.
Like, Buddy.
'Cause-
I don't know if that actually to me that doesn't have any correlation because they're not actively going against each other. Like it's
Yeah.
not running back versus running back. They both have the ball, so you can get past the other.
Because, like, I mean, he finishes with 1,085 yards, and Braylon had that within the first, like, 5 or 6 games of the season?
but Braylon's second half of the season was kind of meh.
Well, after the Huntington game, he broke his leg. He didn't get a play in the 2 biggest games of the year. But
He didn't break his leg.
that's what they kept saying, dude. Kept saying he broke his leg. He's out for basketball. Swear to God. Ask everybody at Paint Valley. Next thing you know, dude's not on crutches, and then he plays in the freaking Purcell Marion game. So I don't get it. Like, everybody say broke his leg, done, dead. Actually, done breathing.
Dude, whoever's down there at Huntington reporting on injuries,
That's
knock it off. It's not always a broken leg.
Yeah.
Sometimes
dude. I also heard like the altercations of that Huntington Paint Valley game were not nice to each other. And man, Paint Valley. I don't like to talk bad about teams, but everything is their league to lose. So everybody, I think, football and volleyball wise, were like, oh no, like the people that won it last year, the clear cut favorites. It's not going to be them. It's going to be Paint Valley for football. It's going to be Union for volleyball, or maybe even Huntington. And Adena and Union are like, nope, we're still the best. Like, and then Union to go out. I'm getting tired of the. Well, Union won the gold ball and lost in the first round of the playoffs. They were 4 seed. Okay, they were 4 seed. They lost. Pay Valley, I'm pretty sure, was the top seed. I think, but they were 6 seed. They lost. Like, people are losing to lower seeds like the entire time. So I don't think that's a legit argument for them to leave the SVC. Do I think Union should leave the SVC? I don't want them to because of tradition, but size-wise, I mean,
I think that if you have a 9-1 or 10-0 season, that shouldn't automatically lock you into a playoff spot, like at home.
yeah,
I'll be honest with
dude,
you.
I think 8 was fine.
Yeah, like Clay and I had this conversation off air. Like hoops Matt should start throwing games. He should have. He's like, all right, guys, go out there and purposely lose this game, so that way we can get a 6 seed or a 7 seed and not have to be a 2 seed playing
the best 15 seed you'll ever see.
That's a Columbus school. That's got everybody's 6'8" in the receiving core.
Because because if they go lower, they're actually going to probably play a worse school.
Yeah.
If they get that middle.
Yeah. So if they're 6 playing 12 or whatever, what is it? How many schools get in?
18.
That's what I thought.
18. Insane.
So yeah, if you're
18 or 16, I think it changes by division. But
okay, yeah. So if you're what 7?
If you're a 1-9 Logan,
if you're a 7 school playing an 8 school, and then 8 schools more, I don't know. I feel like Uniota's just got 2 unlucky draws the past 2 years to where they're playing some Columbus school.
Yeah, because
that's just getting
what the critics are seeing is like, oh, you lost to a 5-5 school. I'm like, that 5-5 is 10-0 down here. Like you understand, like they're playing insane schools up there. And here's another hot take, because I think you're going to be looking up that school schedule. Here's a very hot take that I want your guys' opinion on. And this is not dogging Matt Hoops at all. I think Matt Hoops is a better football coach than basketball coach.
Yeah. I was going to Urbana's.
And you got to think, like, 66 regular season game winning streak, multiple gold balls in basketball, multiple sectional, multiple district titles. And I still think that he might be a better football coach than he is basketball coach. What are your thoughts on that, Tony? I know I kind of threw it on you, but
he's not coaching one anymore for a reason, I think. You know, if you have more passion for something, I feel like if he's sitting there with all those accolades on both sides, you know, does he not get as much enjoyment because he's won those gold balls in basketball?
Yeah.
Is it just – but, I mean, to focus on football and to be honest with you, I think he's built the program in football. He likes what he sees. He's really got a good entire we've seen it. Again, that – their freaking junior high team let up minus 316 yards.
Yeah.
That's insane. So it's not even just like he sees a bunch of singular talent down there. It's just they're running a really, really deep and good program. So why not?
And basketball being my favorite sport, I mean, there's nothing like a football Friday night. You know what I mean? We all strive to one day get that same feeling that we did running out there.
They don't have Tuesday and Thursday night lights.
No, they don't.
TV show movies dedicated to Friday
And
nights.
the
Real
only
quick, though, Urbana this year, they went 7-3. Their last regular season game, they went 7-4. I'm not talking about their playoff games. Their last regular season game, they lost 56-0 to London.
Stop putting London on your schedule. London should be like Ironton, independent. Go play out of the country. Like, I don't understand. Like
that's what makes me mad about London is they're beating they beat Chillicothe 42-0. I know Urbana's like twice the team Chillicothe is. They beat Urbana Ward.
Yeah,
56-0.
it's insane. It's like, but yeah, just ladies and gentlemen, just because a team loses in the playoffs, like, doesn't mean that Uniota needs to go play it. You guys don't understand. We went back and looked. Uniota for like 7 to 10, from 2000, like 2007, like their best season was like 6-4, and they did that once in like a 10-year span. 0-10 multiple times. It was.
But I just don't understand London because they beat Urbana 56-0, and then they beat a team called Tecumseh 85-0, and then Tecumseh loses to Urbana 8-41. So like, how does that point difference?
High school football, baby.
Yeah. Like,
let me see here. Sorry, I don't have my notes here in front of me. I don't remember exactly where our next segment was. Tony, do you have any other thoughts on SVC football at the end of this year? Sorry, I didn't even finish going through all this. So, offensive back, Buddy Wilson, he got 1,085 yards, 14 touchdowns. Defensive back, Caden Cutright. He had 15 career interceptions, most in the career at Uniota, and 7 interceptions this year.
I would like to see that compared to Mr. Aiden Dunn.
So, speaking of Mr. Aiden Dunn, he won Special Team Player of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations. Multiple punt return, kick returns.
Crazy, those last 2 awards are interchangeable with the other person.
Yeah,
so like,
literally.
If you would have said, hey, Aiden Dunn won the Defensive Player of the Year, and then Cutright won Special Teams, like, okay,
yeah.
So, like, back and forth, really.
Defensive Lineman of the Year, Marcel James. Not surprised there. And then Caleb Saunders of Paint Valley. They were co-defensive linemen of the year. Offensive lineman of the year. I don't think we're surprised by this. I thought he was a senior last year. Must not have been, obviously. Evan Bauer, Zane
No,
Trace.
because Spencer was.
Spencer, okay, that's
He
who
was
I was
an
thinking
elite
of.
D lineman.
Yes. So congratulations, Evan Bauer. And then, Coach of the Year, Matt Hoops. So congratulations, multiple first team, second team, and honorable mentions. Go look them up. I didn't want to just sit here and start reading.
I think Cody Braden deserves a little bit of a shout out.
I was about
He
to say,
on
who are
that
some
list.
people that we did not mention that you want to give a shout out to? Mine would be that I didn't mention. Again, we don't have the first and second teams honorable mentions right here in front of us. Jeremy Kane, he had an outstanding, I think, blossoming year this year. Only a junior, going to be a senior next year. I'm excited to see what happens there.
Honestly, a lot of show favorites on this list. You know, you got Blake Hoops. We talked about Cody Braden. Bryce Jarvis was one that we kind of saw last year. We really thought he was going to be great. Isaac Coy obviously shows a good
Isaac
future.
Coy for me is the biggest. Like, well, I mean, can a quarterback even win this award? Because like he might not even be up for it.
That's what I don't understand. Why
I was a little confused about that too, because as I was looking at the stats, you know, he had a 68% completion percentage, led in touchdowns with 19, had 400 more yards than the next guy.
I'm also not a fan of. Oh well, he's a sophomore. He's going to have 2 more years to win it after this.
It's
Bullshit.
almost like
if he's the best player in the league this year, he's the best player in the league this year.
it's
That's just
almost
how
like
it is.
somebody just needs to come up with a kind of like new awards
Yeah.
ceremony for these guys.
You got Cy Stu, Hudson Williams out there.
Cy Stu, let me talk about this. The first half of the season, and I'm not talking about the first 3 games before the SVC play, because I feel like it's kind of like the first couple of games of SVC play too. It was kind of like, okay, Cy Stu, what's going on here? He exploded down the stretch for Zane Trace.
Who was the main running back for Zane Trace? Was
It ended up being Silas Stewart.
ended up
It was
being
him and Bryce Johnson were kind of trading off carries there, and then it kind of just became.
Because Bryce Johnson's a sophomore this year, right?
Believe
Gotta
so,
give
yeah.
a shout out
Okay.
to the big man, Caden Curtis,
Yes.
out of Huntington.
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, moving people.
We talk show favorites. He's top 10 for me all day.
Yes.
every day.
And again, we got to see Huntington versus Adena. That Huntington Huntsman team is going to be
Frankie
a problem.
Hirsch. I put my faith in him, drafted him this year. I was, again, looking at these stats. He was second in completion percentage.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
no offense to Noah Potter. That dude was an absolute athlete in every direction.
well, Noah Potter was a
but-
quarterback because they didn't have a quarterback, so they put the most athletic person
Exactly.
there. Noah
Like-
Potter's a running back. Noah Potter probably tell you he's a running back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's such a good athlete that that's just what you do in high
You
school.
had to do it, but-
You just put him at quarterback.
But either way, before the season, if you said he was going to be second, he obviously.
I would not have guessed that.
When you look down the line too, you can't say that he didn't throw the ball either, because other than Isaac Coy, he's right up there with everybody else in terms of pass.
And don't forget about Isaac Taylor in the backfield there for him. And I don't think they're losing a whole lot out there for Huntington.
Nope, looks young.
So
and honestly, their teams were dominating in the Super Bowl too. Didn't Huntington have themselves a nice W on Saturday?
not shutout dub like
that
39-0.
was, my coworker's nephew's on that team.
Oh,
They were
really?
super pumped
Dude,
about it.
first, no, maybe second play of the game, but first drive, Huntington, pick 6. Then 3 and out, gets the ball, first play, touchdown.
We were talking about stats. You know who I felt like had a kind of a falling off year? Like they had such a good last year?
I think we're going to say the same person, but who?
Preston Farber.
We did not say the same person.
Who were you going to say?
Carson Free.
Well, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
They really go hand in hand. I feel like he – I don't know about so much as Free because I felt like he had a quiet season all season. But I felt like Farber started
Oh,
off –
you're talking about started off
like
of the
he
season.
started off
Okay.
because he was second in the league with 1,200
Yeah.
passing yards. But then, like, we saw in the Uniota game, like, he got sat down halfway through that one. Like, I had a mean highlight of him fumbling the ball right there before the half. It's unfortunate. But, I felt like he started off so good and was, like, just a very hot commodity fantasy-wise. And then he just kind of
That's crazy that you say fantasy-wise, and then that went off.
It's live Monday Night Football
That was
fantasy.
awesome.
Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes.
Hashtag not sponsored. But, yeah, I agree with you. He was starting out throwing 200 a game almost.
Kind
I'm
of like
thinking-
shat the bed.
I'm
And then-
thinking Lane Williams should have been above honorable mention.
He only got honorable mention?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we got to do something about this.
Wait, for what?
Did you see the
Special teams?
Bo Zickafoos kids got
Just-
it too?
Just in general.
I will say, from the very beginning of this year, I called Jackson Zickafoos.
You did?
Boy came out. I said, dude, the way he ran on the field, I was
Yeah.
like, something about this character
Yep.
right here. Ends up having a great first game. And then both the brothers got here on
Too bad.
Honorable
I think you were too high on him because Bill came in and swooped him up after week 1. It was all.
Weingartner. We're another personal favorite. We saw him play
Who?
against St. Trace. Had a really, really good game.
Weingartner.
Jack
Oh, yeah.
Weingartner. Dude, he's played solid football for 2 years now. Like he's one of those dudes that he might not get as much attention, but I'm glad to see him at least get the honorable mention because he definitely deserves it.
Big Show favorite too. Trey Robinette got first team All FAC. That kid, man, is an absolute baller. Love what he's doing.
Have a good season next year.
Do I think they're gonna have a good season?
No, I said, do you know who I'm looking? Who
Oh,
I think's
who?
looking at? I think Gunnar the Sunner is gonna have a breakout season.
Yeah,
next year.
I agree because now this year I felt like he with that injury could never kind of get right.
It was
go.
like right off the rip.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you get an injury that early on, it's something you're dealing with for the rest of the season.
Can't
You're
get in
trying
that
to
rhythm.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just constantly trying to get better. You're gingerly, like you're going through practice a little gingerly. Like,
Was he a junior this year?
Yeah, he was a junior.
Yeah, so I think next year too, taking it now. And again, we kind of talked about it through the season, but the sophomore class of quarterbacks in the SVC and FAC,
Crazy.
it's about to be a crazy next couple of years. See how these guys go.
Gunnar was just ahead of the curve on the sophomore quarterback.
He really
came out and
was.
Had a hellacious sophomore year last year.
Yeah, he goes, "Hey guys, just let you know, sophomore year's where it starts." You'll see.
Sophomore slumps, not over here.
All right, so before, I think that's all I had for that stuff. Did you guys have anything else?
Well, I guess the cool people in the FAC, Carter Ligon.
Carter
Ligon.
Liggins.
For me, they
Yeah.
got that one exactly right. I'm not going to talk about nobody else. Except Adam Guthrie. Well, he did pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know what he got on that one. I didn't see his
Offensive
name.
player of the year had to.
No, that was Nolan Johnson.
Not offensive.
Offensive lineman?
player of the year. But other than that, Nolan Johnson, no honorable mentions there.
I don't think they have. It doesn't show the other
him.
awards, but
Yeah, it literally just said, here's player of the year, first team, second team.
Guthrie,
If
Julian
they have
Baker.
a first team all whatever it should be, first team all Nolan Johnson.
Yeah, if they had first team all swag, right?
No, it's just first team all Nolan Johnson, and then you'd have Nolan Johnson, and then everybody else would get onto the first team Nolan. Johnson.
So if they had like a first team all swag for the SVC.
Dang, Jevin
would
Hoxtell
you-
only got honorable mention too.
What?
Juan Miller,
Jevin Hoxtell only got an honorable mention?
Mason Dumper.
Did
too.
anybody see his stats? I mean, I guess I did because he was drowning me in fantasy points and
Yes,
everything.
You're looking at Julian Baker's in front of him for it, I guess.
Okay, before we get into the draft, one crazy thing, we're talking about Final Fours and history and stuff like that. Memphis boys and girls soccer team are heading to the Final Four. I think that's kind of like the Florida football and football, basketball, the UConn boys and girls and stuff like that. Like the Memphis girls and boys both looking to win a state title in soccer. That is going to be something that we're going to have to keep our eyes on and see what happens there. Adam, did you have anything for your courtroom today?
I did not know.
Okay, here we go. We're going to go into our draft, and then after that, we will have our top 10 plays of the week. So, I don't remember, because it's been so long since we did a show who's first, so we're just going to start with Tony and go down the line. Tony, you're up first. What Halloween costume are you drafting?
I love me a good Stone Cold Steve Austin costume. I want
Okay.
a good one, and it has to have a bald cap.
Okay.
Because there's nothing funnier to me than like a good costume when it's like it's not done perfectly and the person accepts it. So you get the knee pads on, you get the vest. I want the bald cap, male or female. Bald cap's a must.
Bald cap over a already balding man.
If you if you got like a beard, you got to keep the beard with it too. Like I want it to be a little obnoxious, but embracing this true Stone Cold culture.
All right, so Tony's first pick, he goes with a true Stone Cold Steve Austin costume. Adam, what are you going with for your first pick?
I'm drafting Myles Garrett's Terminator costume this past.
That was a pretty good one.
That was a really good one.
Terminator Myles Garrett costume. Okay, so I got two picks here. You guys, so first one I'm going with, I feel like it's like every kid's best one. I'm going with a Jedi. I like to dress up as a Jedi just because I get, the lightsaber. So I have to go with the Jedi there. And then I think the next one I'm going to go with is one that I've always wanted to dress up as for Halloween, but never have. I'm going to go with Ricky Bobby. Like when people get like
the real suit, like the full
yeah.
body Wonder Bread suit.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Ricky
It's a good costume.
Bobby. All right, Adam, it goes back to you. You drafted the Terminator Myles Garrett costume. What is your second pick?
He just had a really good one. What did the Weeknd do last year?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it was a really good one. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look it up.
No problem. I'm going to shift over here because I want me to be over here for the top 10 place. Tony, did you have a good time with your trick or treat with your son?
I did. I'll show one of the next ones here. But Wayne's World. Check this out. See if I can get it on camera.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah, he went as Don Vito Corleone, so the Godfather.
As you can see here, we've got a mini Garth. She's about 3. And we got Mr. Colson there's the Wayne's World. I think they pulled it off quite nicely.
They did.
And honestly,
It was great.
The little girl didn't even need a wig. It was honestly flawless.
Little girl's not even trying.
Too good. But
Now push.
But yeah, no. The Weeknd dressed up
Beside me.
as the Godfather so well that he had me and several other millions of people thinking that there was a Godfather movie coming out. Like,
Oh, wow, that's insane. So, are you picking Sylvester Stallone? Is that who you said?
the Weeknd is the Godfather. I
Like
said
you're picking
Don Vito Corleone.
Okay.
Sylvester Stallone.
And I guess my second one I'll do, I want George Washington. The reason being is, one, I want the costume really bad, too. Like, I want the buckle shoes. I want that feathery thing that comes out. That's pretty good.
That's the Weeknd. Can you believe that? That's not the actor from The Godfather.
Bro, I see those Snapchats where people turn into freaking Jennifer Lopez and it's a dude.
It's insane.
I don't trust the internet.
Okay, you said George Washington. Who's the other one?
It was Wayne's World.
Wayne's World? Okay. So you got Stone Cold Steve Austin, George Washington, Wayne's World. I like the George Washington one.
Dude, imagine the buckle shoes and everything. You know how hard I would hit that?
Dude, you know what it reminds me of? You ever see those
Oh, I think I jacked our camera up.
Oh, way to go. No, I'm just kidding.
Son of idiot.
Have you ever seen those Instagram?
You're fucking it up even more.
I know. I'm trying.
There
we
it
go.
is.
Sweet. Have you ever seen those Instagram reels of the guy that's like, oh, if Shakespeare came out like now, or you had
The
smartphones
Mozart
nowadays,
and stuff?
he's like, oh, this is busted. He's like dancing into like
That would be me.
Yeah, I know.
I'd have the coat flow, my buckle shoes just to tap in like.
Oh shit. All right, Adam, who is going to be your third costume?
I'm gonna have to do something easy, and then this is just not like a celebrity costume.
Okay.
It's just something that I would do. It's just like the dude.
Oh,
The Big Lebowski.
I was going to pick him next because I've done him before. All right, so the dude. That's a good one. And you like White Russians, so I feel like it's even
I
better.
love
for you.
White Russians.
Yeah,
dude.
they're
I just get
okay.
hammered on 'em.
So since you took the dude, so I'm going to go with one that I've never done. I always wanted to do since I was a kid. I'm going to go with Spider-Man. I mean, who doesn't want to just dress up as Spider-Man?
Be more like Spoder Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Looks like he doesn't need another beer can. And then, do I go with iconic or do I go with another one that I've always wanted to do that I never did? I'm going to go with, you guys remember the Scream masks that you just pump blood
Dude, I was
into?
thinking about that today when I was thinking about, because it's just that iconic.
Yeah,
It's like one of those things you just slap it on. People still have it every year.
You know, Ghostface. That's the killer's name is Ghostface. So you know, Ghostface masks are selling out of stores now because this younger generation are putting them on and they're fornicating.
What?
Let me tell you this.
They're
That's I don't
sexing
give
each
a
other
crap
with that
what
dang
they
mask
tell me to
on.
call it. That's a Scream mask.
That's Scream mask.
Only Ghostface I know, kill him.
Yeah, I mean, he was the Ghostface killer. Like that was his name was Ghostface.
Okay, Adam, you have your last pick. Who's it going to be?
Group costume, the gang.
Nice.
Scooby and the gang.
Wait, what'd you say?
The gang. Meddling kids.
Oh, okay.
Shaggy, Velma.
Yeah,
In the works.
the gang.
Scoobert.
I thought you said a Gru costume at first. I was like, the Despicable Me one? Like,
No.
oh, I figured out why everybody's dressed up as Vector. He is in the new one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he makes a comeback. All right, Tony, your last. Oh, no, you have already.
Vector, more like Pector.
More like Vector. All right, Tony, what's your last pick?
I I want to say Vin Diesel, but I won't.
Family? Family's your last pick?
Just because I think I would have a lot of fun with it. Luke Urich's #1 fan shirt. He literally rolls up to the party and it was a white T-shirt that just said like #1 ceiling or something. And he was like, I'm a #1 fan, and it's like a ceiling fan.
Wait, did that really happen?
Yes. And I'm in a Spider-Man costume.
He said, like a ceiling fan? No, bro. No.
It was good stuff.
All right, Tony, you ready to do our top 10 plays of the week before we get out of here? All right. Here we go. Top 10 plays of the week coming in at number 10. We're going to have Cade Carroll from Waverly in the playoff game. He only has one arm right now because he has a cast on. Doesn't matter. Comes up with the interception. Waverly will go on to win that one. Tony.
Here we go with play number 9. We've got the U-Note quarterback here. He starts looking for his big wide receiver, but we've got a young man right here says, no thank you. Hold my Halloween candy. I'm here for a pick.
Takes it all the way. And Huntington would win that one big time, 39-0. Now, coming in at number 8, we're going right back to the flag football Super Bowl as we have McDowell. Now the Cowboys have a rare punt here. McDowell takes it, runs it up the right sideline, finds a host of blockers, and brings it back after a couple of moves for a touchdown. But White would not win that one.
Play number 7 comes from Chillicothe High School soccer here. We got a corner kick. They send it in. We get a beautiful header, nothing but metal, but we get to finish off. But right here, I want to see high step and celebration right here. Nice high knees, my friend.
And that one sends to the Final Four there, Tony. Coming in here at number 6, we're going to Cody Brady. He's going to get the handoff. Explodes through the middle for a huge touchdown for Utah. They would actually lose that game, though.
Play number 5, we have another key point. Sweet play, but what we see here is some sweet hair. Watch the throw. Boom. Flow sided. Panty flow green. What do we get here? Beautiful Mossy catch. Gets up. Hair flip. I'm still here. Good God.
Coming in here at number 4, we got some volleyball here for you as Cameron Sowers, as you see here, lays out, keeps the ball alive, and then Adena would go on to get the point and win the match. And this game right here sends them to the Final Four.
Play number 3, we got. Oh, we come in, we have one of the nastiest hurdles of the season. That's not even done yet. He says, get off of me. Breaks the tackle. Guy tries to pat him on the back. He says, no, thank you. Please let me have a hug. He says, no, thank you. I'm keeping up here.
Zane Williams has been an absolute weapon. Now coming in at number 2, Bay Valley Mile lost the game, but look at this amazing play here. Carson Free gets the pitch, doesn't look to run, throws an absolute laser to Dres Bullion, bosses the guy, gets the touchdown for the Bearcats, but the Bearcats would fall to Purcell Mary.
With the top play of the week, we are here. You're going to test Ireton's defense. I don't know what the quarterback is thinking. Mr. Worthington Christian over here tries to throw a pass to the Ireton defense. He says, not only that, I want to take it all the way back for 6.
And that is our top 10 plays of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Ride the Wave show. Again, we are going to hopefully be back and better than ever next week, but we can't promise that. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
The Amoroso rolls are the key to a good Philly cheese.
I'm going to use my high horse.
It's not hard to cook chopped steak, people. It's hard to get good bread.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Sandman has entered. The Tigers are ready to be 10.
He goes, what do we do if they get to 10,000? I'm like, well, it has to be something big.
This is absolutely lit. What?
I'd be so privileged to have you guys come down to the Cintas Center and have us beat UConn.
Yes! Let's go! Yes! Let's go! Yes! Here. Oh, number 5 away. And it is done! Free pizza for the Shermans!
Playing that, I can't imagine. I mean, the biggest game I've ever played in is like a district final game. I thought I was like cloud 9, you know?
Same thing.
We're getting a fat W! Oh my gosh! Yeah! Let me go back to his brother! Oh my God! What a catch! Oh my God! What a catch! Touchdown play! Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Right around here is subpar. That's why there's not a good cheesesteak around here.
I respect you a lot more for saying
Oh my God.
Tony's life's complete.